Hello YouTube fans, here again. And I think I was talking about video nasties. Why not give people the history of the video nasties? I remember doing this one before. I had a lot of fun doing it, so I want to have a lot of fun doing it again. And just really going into depth on the history about the video nasties and how it came to be. Now, as we know, the early 80s was a big day for video. At that time you had the Betamax and the VHS, which one day I'll talk about that. Not at this tape, but at a later date I'll talk about that one. Because at that era, the Betamax and the VHS was in competition. And you could say it's a bit like the Blu-ray and the DVD were in competition. Then we had other things that was in competition, very similar. So it was in competition, but without being it was the VHS. But something else made the VHS. At that era you had what you call the rentable video shops. This was before you had Blockbusters and all these well-known names. And videos at that time, they were common. You could actually go to a get the word right, offense there. You could go to a car, I meant to say, dealer, and you could get videos. You had a fan with a die. I remember that, and this is true story. True story. I remember there was a die, right? He had a fan. You could open it up, and I'm not even making this shit up. He had fucking loads, I mean loads, of VHSs. So videos were popular. You go into anywhere, any charads, any shop, and you would find videos. But the thing what made the videos were there was these horror movies, right? Done on the cheap. Some were zombies, some were cannibals, some, believe it or not, were banned in the olden days of the theatrical police, but on video in its totally uncut form. So the video nasty became popular. That's how it became called the video nasty. And it was done by a guy who was doing these comic books, what's called the comic book nasties from the 50s. A bit like all the comics, vampires and spiders and all that. And that's how the VHS got to be called the video nasty. They was popular. I mean, they were popular in that area. A lot of people could rent them out. They were dirt cheap. Even though in that area the videos were expensive, people could rent them. And you could always tell it's funny, right? It was funny. The VCR, you could always go in, it's going to get a really nasty scene because the film goes all chainy and filthy when it gets to a really good dirty bit. So you could always tell where the nasty bits were going to be. And it was great. It was great. It made the video die a lot of money and so on. But the thing what spoiled it, the thing what fucking spoiled it is you had this old bidder. Right? I know it's disrespectful to the dead, but fuck it, I'm going to say it. You had this horrible old lady called, if I remember rightly, Mary Whitehouse. Mary Whitehouse, I remember saying this before, was a woman who had to stick her oar in, had to depress things. You know, saw bare tits on TV and to cry a fucking river. And so on. So then the government got wind of it, and this is a bit what I'm going to get to. This is just a prime example of how fucking stupid the government were. Instead of just putting them on the video chases high up, like they do with porn, instead of having a warning sign of the traffic details and making sure it's only for adults only, they had to go over the top. They had to go over the top. And the thing was so fucking annoying was the video company was doing it, but they were getting taxed. So they was basically using a bit of this, but they was now going to put a rating certificate on. Because back then they didn't have the ratings on, so I can kind of understand. And some of the art covers were a bit dory. But no, this is our government. Don't forget, our government has to go OTT. They sent the police round. They sent the fucking bobbies around. And if you get caught selling this shit, there's people that worked in that business, you get a big fine and a prison sentence. I'm not even making this shit up. This is what was going on in the early fucking 80s. The early 1980s, the police went around. You know what I mean? There's fucking people robbing houses. There's people mugging old ladies. There's people fucking vandalising, destroying property. But no, the police had to fucking use the government's resources. Again, enact. Sounds really familiar with this, doesn't it? And they got videos and they were burning them. This was the shit what was going on in the early fucking 80s, people. This is how over the top the government, like Conservative, even fucking Labour, were back even then. Even then, they had to suppress a country. Now, I'm not one for censorship, and I'm not one for suppressing things. I believe that there's certain films I don't like. Certain films I don't like, I can admit it. The Soviet film, don't like it. You ought to know what I think of Human Centipede to test it. But I'm not one of them that's going to turn around and say, just because I don't fucking like it, you should not be watching it. But our government had it in their head that if young people will watch these, they're going to turn into psychopaths. Number one, the rating load will IT with, because if you've got an 18 on and you're underage, you can't watch it. It's like you can't watch fucking porn if you're underage. But no, the government had to go over the top, and even the newspaper, just like now, the newspaper had to make a big thing out of it. There was a dramatic drawing, right, of a child sat there watching a video and a shadow of Satan's face. I'm not even making this shit up. A shadow of Satan's fucking face. And they really went over the top on the video nasty error. They went so over the fucking top, it was unbelievable. The one that was very memorable was, and I remember talking about this film, Cannibal Holocaust. In any newspaper, there would be a photo of Cannibal Holocaust, the original art cover, where you had a cannibal munching on ducks. You would actually have that art cover. I'm not even making this up. You actually had that art cover to manage the film, to market the video nasty, I meant to say. You did. They did. They had all these other governments, and there was so over the fucking top. It was unbelievable. So the video nasty was no more, and it got wiped out. But what the government did was unbelievable. Police arresting people, burning videos, going on the news, over milking it, a little bit like they do nowadays. And it's ironic when you had this Crawford, how the fucking government has sort of got away with it again. Yes, I know it's a different debate, it's a fucking illness. But Surgetive never changed a fucking thing. They've never changed a fucking thing. And they've got away with it. They're to pest the video nasties. The funny thing is, you can now probably get them on DVD. These films that were banned, what were cut, you can get some now on DVD in its totally uncut form. One that I always remember was there's one called Nightmare in a Damaged Brain. And I remember talking about this one. A guy had the totally uncut version on video, right? Uncensored version. And all because he rented it, he got arrested and went to prison for so many fucking days. Not for pushing drugs, not for selling kiddie porn, even though that's disgusting. No. Just for selling, or not selling, so I should say, renting an uncut version of a fucking cheap horror film. Seriously, how fucking mad is that? How stupid is that? And this is what was going on in that era. In the early 80s, that's how stupid our government were and how they got away with it. But the best one for this is, I remember saying this before, there's a biography called Video Nasty Extreme. If you can ever find it, I recommend watch it. It's a brilliant biography. You can even get it on DVD as 3 discs. So there's original trailers of all the classic video nasties. Because back then they had this list, and every time they went on the list, they were looking for the nasty video nasties. And it was fucking stupid. The police are just fucking stupid because they went in raiding video shops. And you could get something like The Biggest Fucking Whore Out. There was a well-known film, like what Burt Reynolds did in Dolly Parton Big Tits called The Best Little Whore House in Texas. And the funny thing is, the police raided it, took the video out, and I'd realised it's just a fucking sex comedy with Burt Reynolds and Betty Davis, Dolly Parton Big Tits. So that's what it was. It was a fucking sex comedy, for fucking crying out loud. It was a sex comedy with Burt Reynolds and Dolly fucking Parton. That's all it was, a fucking comedy. And they took it off the shelf thinking it was a nasty. So it just show you how fucking dumb the police are and how clueless they really were. But like I said, there's a good biography called Video Nasty Extreme that practically says what I've just said. And they had this list, and they was going through the list of all these nasty films. Really nasty. And they was taking them off the fucking shelf. Seriously, they was taking them off the shelf. And I felt sorry for the guys in the video store. I really did felt sorry for them because it was their livelihood. Back then, it was a big dosing money. These were little businessmen, and they was making it in. You know what I mean? They was making it in and making money, but our government had to ruin it all. And it's like saying you can now get them on DVD. You get some in its uncut form now. Sad to say, some are still cut down. And sad to say, there are some that you can't even get today. But it's ironic because you can probably see it on the internet now. There's only some movie sites out there, you didn't hear me say that, where you can actually watch films. I remember saying one ages ago, it's banned in this country, but if you could buy it in another country, you can see it in its uncut form in another country called The Last Order. And it's not a porno. It's called The Last General's Order. I remember reviewing it and watching it. Banned in this country. But the thing that's so laughable is you can find it if you look around on the internet. You hear me say that? And you can watch it in its totally uncut form. Yeah, there's some nasty bits in it. And there's other ones out there. The SS Experiment Camp. I think it's a piece of fucking shit. But I'm not one for banding. Banned in this country. Never seen the daylight except for the dumb days of video nasties. But the thing is, this video nasties now, people can now buy them on Amazon. People can auction them. And they're worth a lot, and I mean a lot of money. If you can get the original, The Evil Dead, if you could get SS Experiment Camp and all these in its totally uncut form, you've got a shit amount of money. A shit amount of money. So many collectors out there that are collecting these movies from so many years ago. What was the video nasties? What managed not to get burnt because the government had to burn them. They had to burn them because they're evil. Says how fucking stupid. How stupid. But this was how stupid our government are and how much they've not learned. And that's why I never fault the government. I've never ever fault arseholes like Joni Bear and Boris the Dollies and Wussy Wussy, Shuki Shuki. I never fucking ever liked Maggie Thatcher. Never liked her. I never fault fucking George Majors and whoever else wants to fuck this country up. Never would do. Never would do. The wankers. Puppets do fucking dicks that never fucking brought up with a Jordan 4 up the arse. And the fact that they went in, they did this, went over the fucking top, and I even said it. All they had to do was put a rating label on it, make it, give it a warning sign, leave the fucking, that's it. That's all they had to do. Make sure kids from a certain age or underage cannot see these films. But the news, like the news does, had to go over the fucking top. They had to milk it. And that's the history of the video nasties. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the history of every one of these films and what I think of them. I might even do them a rating. But I thought I'd take a change of this. You want to see me do a funnier one? What's one I did a couple of days ago about this? I made it a lot more funny, but I want to put this one more into depth. Big word. But until then, people, be smart, be safe, and I'll see you later for some more stuff on the way.